The Warriors have been losing. If the season were to end today, they would be in the play-in game, and Jonathan Kuminga is feeling a bit on the outs yet again. As we see right here, Warriors have lost 5 of their last 7. Kuminga's turnover spiked, performance dipped, searching for rotation answers. Kerr demoted Kuminga back to bench role, reopening old wounds. He feels like the scapegoat again, which of course raises the question, is a big trade on the horizon? We have seen Anthony Davis in trade rumors lately. To me, Anthony Davis on the Golden State Warriors might make the most sense. Now, I will say, before we dive into what that trade would look like, listen to what Draymond has to say about Kuminga. Also, is Draymond like clip farming? Like, this seems like a clip farm.
Oh my God. He's not the baby that y'all try to make him out to be and think he's always complaining. JK was questionable because his knees were sore before OKC. Oh my God. It's not what y'all thought it was. Unbelievable. Look at that. How about this? JK's been one of the most bought in guys on the team all year. How about that? Oh my God. He's not the baby that y'all try to make him out to be and think he's always complaining. How about that? JK has made it very clear. He wants to be an all-star. He thinks he has all-star potential. He's made that very clear. Kid works his ass off. Of course you're going to feel some type of way. Who would want someone that doesn't feel any type of way? Great, I'll show you a loser right to your face.
All right, fair, I guess. But let's actually look at Jonathan Kuminga's stats here on a Golden State Warriors team that's 9-8. For being honest, the Warriors are not looking like they are going to be contenders, and Steph Curry and Draymond himself only getting older. We saw that white in that hair, Dre. Can't hide that. We've got Thunder 15-1, Nuggets 11-3, Rockets 10-3, Lakers 11-4, Spurs 10-4, Timberwolves 10-5, Warriors 9-8. Like, the West is insanely tough. If we were in the East with the Detroit Pistons at 13-2, maybe we wouldn't have to worry as much, right? But let's just be honest. If Steve Kerr is benching Jonathan Kuminga, it is for a reason. And Jonathan Kuminga is averaging 13.8 points per game. Can that be improved upon? Yes. Like, we're talking, okay, Dre's saying all-star. He wants to be an all-star. It's not like he's not getting opportunities. His stats are actually down from last season in more minutes per game. Rebounding a bit better. So, okay, we love to see that. But let's look at the efficiency. Just the base PER, just the simplest of advanced stats, 12.8. 15 is average, 12.8, not good. Look at this, -4 box score plus minus, -0.2 at value over replacement player. He is a minus on the court. We're seeing it right here. Turnover percentages way up. Dre is saying it's the knees, but I just feel like Jonathan Kuminga on the Warriors, I don't know if it ever works. Does look like he's injured, of course, here. Has not played in the last several games. So he's injured. We don't say it looks like he's injured. And to begin the year, he was cooking. First 6 games was averaging a solid 17.5, 7.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists. We love to see that. But here we go, Jonathan Kuminga lowlight. Before we get into the lowlights, though, I do want to say, look, there's Butler saying, I love him. I know he has fans. I'm his number 1. So Jimmy Butler loves him. Draymond loves him. They all love him right now. Him not being in the lineup is not the reason we're not winning. Butler's defending him. I really love this from Jimmy Butler. He's not scapegoating him. For the Warriors to reach their ceiling this season, there's an internal belief that Kuminga, even in a condensed role, must shake off some of his built-up resentment. So Dre might love him. Jimmy might love him. I feel like Steve Kerr hates him, if I'm being honest. I think Steve Kerr cannot stand Jonathan Kuminga.
You think he still wants to be here?
I think anyone should want to be in the franchise that they started in. And so, do I think he still wants to be here? I do think he still wants to be here. And he said that to me, that he still wants to be here.
Dre's saying all the right things here, right? Here's also Jimmy coaching, mentoring.
You watch Kuminga make the extra pass to the corner, and Jimmy's going to go baseline, but you got to love this. This is something we just didn't get to see last year. He's like, hey, I want you to cut. I'm going to get you the ball. No, I'm going to get you the ball. I'm not in sync with it, but that's exactly what he's saying. He's like, you either drift to the corner or you cut. I'm going to get you the ball. We didn't really get to see that in the playoffs, but that's what Jimmy said he'd do. He was like, hey, I'll mentor Kuminga. Here he is cutting with him, drifting to the corner and knocking it down. And it starts with Kuminga playing the right way, but I'm excited to see Jimmy empower him like we've seen him do with so many other players. Here he is alone on the block, and he just puts on a clinic.
Okay, a little underwhelming, let's be honest. I mean, there wasn't really, like, he didn't even get a cut in a drive to the basket after. At the end of the day, what are the Warriors supposed to do? What is Draymond and Jimmy supposed to do? What they have to hype up Jonathan Kuminga if they even were to want him to get traded, you know, on the sly. Like, you can't be like, oh, Jonathan Kuminga is not buying in and then also expect him to be a big type of trade piece. I don't think they're being that devious. However, just look at these quotes from Steve Kerr. Kerr has been skeptical all summer of lineup combinations that included Kuminga, Butler, and Green. Okay. I wasn't convinced until I was convinced. Even opening night didn't look good in the first half. He now has benched Jonathan Kuminga. It's all about playing through Steph. Kerr called Green between games when they're facing the Nuggets and told him his gut was to start Quinn and Post at center against Jokic. Well, who does that take out? Green asked. Probably Kuminga. Let me start at center, Green said. I want JK to keep the momentum. So maybe, right? I'm believing that Draymond and Jimmy Butler do love Jonathan Kuminga, but I don't think the front office loves him. I don't think that Steve Kerr loves him. And I think that they can do better. So here is last year, Jonathan Kuminga, again, Steve Kerr.
The Game 6 loss, Steve Kerr said this about Kuminga possibly playing in Game 7.
Is Jonathan Kuminga on the table to play?
100% he's on the table.
And this was how Jonathan Kuminga arrived for Game 7.
Okay, can we just talk about this? Like, is he on the table to play? Jimmy and Draymond are talking about Jonathan Kuminga like he is the missing piece that they need in order to go win a championship, while Steve Kerr is on the precipice of benching him almost at every second. Look at his playoff minutes last year. Played game 2, game 3, and game 7. Shot 0 for 4 in game 7. And then, as we know, Steph got hurt and they needed him, and my man was, 11 for 23, 26 points. I'm not hating on Jonathan Kuminga. I really just think Steve Kerr can't stand him, does not believe in him. If your coach doesn't believe in you, it's not going to work. I mean, if you've played ball and you've had a coach who does not believe in you.
Here again, all the time in the world, and then he does this.
And like, you struggle a little bit. It's really hard to play.
2 points for the Rockets, and Steve Kerr instantly called a timeout and took him out of the game.
Like, he's taking good
and
shots.
Kuminga
We
tries
know
to get
he's
a bucket, but
a
I
good
don't
player.
think I've ever seen anyone react to his pump fakes. As you saw, Kuminga gave up the offensive rebound, the Rockets hit a 3, and Steve Kerr calls a timeout, takes him out of the game, and doesn't play him anymore.
I would just say, I feel like this is a situation where both sides something's got to give here. Like, this is not going to work in Golden State. However, what could end up working is Jonathan Kuminga with Cooper Flag. Let's listen to this possible take.
I still don't feel great. This one I find interesting specifically because of what the Warriors, because of the Kuminga of it all, and he just seems to always be in flux there. So the idea would be, and then, by the way, Boogie put this out there, and the internet seemed to have loved the idea of him going there, with maybe both sides winning. You get Kuminga, you get a fresh start for him in Dallas with Cooper Flag. What do we make of that one, Lou?
I like this one as well. I like this one as well.
I love
especially
this
for
one.
Dallas. Especially for Dallas. As many young.
Okay, so right now Anthony Davis has like negative. I posted an Anthony Davis trade video, and every single team was like, "We don't want him." The Mavericks, they need to tank. They only have their current first-round pick for next season, so they really need to lock in a really great pick next year. You get a promising young talent in Jonathan Kuminga. He might be able to fit next to Cooper Flag. He might be really good if he gets shots and his coach believes in him.
Young pieces as you can possibly get right now. Get rid of all of the old. Let's start fresh. Let's start new. With the exception of Kyrie Irving. Obviously Kyrie is going to be your point guard of the future, but even
Kyrie is not. I disagree with that. I don't think Kyrie's going to be the point guard of the future at his current age. I think when Kyrie returns, like, what you would want from the Mavericks is to get his trade value up to prove that he is still a great contributor, and then get what you can for him, because Dallas, they really just need to blow it up and build around Cooper Flag.
still, he's 35, 36 years old. I hope I'm not aging him. I think he's in that range.
You aged him.
So you still have an opportunity to have a veteran leadership at that point guard position. You bring in a Kuminga, you add him with a Cooper Flag and some other young pieces. I really like this a lot for Dallas.
Kyrie's 33, he's 35 or 36. He aged him a lot. Okay, so we are going to pull up the trade machine to see what that trade would look like. Now, the trade that would have worked is that Lowry Markkanen to the Golden State Warriors. Is that off the table at this point? probably he's averaging 30 points per game, but somehow Draymond Green has enough influence in the Golden State Warriors front office. This is just facts. He said no to Lauri Markkanen. He was the one that said no. Future Hall of Famer Draymond Green told Warriors general manager Mike Dunleavy and team owner Joe Lacob not to greenlight a trade for the Finnish All-Star 2 summers ago. I'm a big fan of Markkanen's game, but I think if you want to do something so huge, you better be certain that this is the move. You usually don't win those things against Danny Ainge. I look at history. That's fair in terms of Danny Ainge does get the most for what we're talking about here, but Lauri Markkanen now has been exploding. If he was on the Warriors, maybe they do have enough. I don't know. I mean, this is tough. This is tough, right? Because Anthony Davis, when he's playing at his best, is one of the best big men in the league, and he does provide the defense that Golden State also needs. They don't need scoring as much, but they do need score. They're currently 23rd in offense. They're actually 8th in defensive rating. They need scoring more than anything. Steph averaging around 28 a game, just never ages. Jimmy 20 though, and it just drops off a cliff. Lowry would have been perfect. I mean, if they could still somehow convince the Jazz to do this, but 30.6 points per game now for Lowry, shooting 48.5%. I mean, he's just been an absolute monster. Career best win shares per 48 minutes, career best box score plus minus. And he was an all-star starter, if we remember correctly, back in just 2023. His contract, he's making, he's locked until 2029. So the Jazz really don't have an incentive to trade him other than they want to be tanking, which makes sense. They're right now kind of in that nebulous middle ground, but they can wait to get a really good package back for him. If I had to guess, I would say that Lowry ends up on the Pistons. I think on the Pistons, that's an elite fit if they do end up trading him. Like this is another trade that got floated out here. DeMar DeRozan, just get me out of here. I don't want that at all for the Warriors. I do not think that pushes them to compete with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Are we kidding? We actually never looked at the throw it down on Jake LaRivia. We never watched Jonathan Kuminga lowlights. I mean, it's just kind of just like what he's not hustling. I feel like look, just no closeout on Stephon Castle.
No look pass.
That's not his guy. He's over here.
No look pass. Spinning to Barnes. Too much time.
He's getting the boards. I mean, listen, I do think Jonathan Kuminga is being the scapegoat here, but I also just think that if your head coach hates you, something needs to change. So let's change something. Let's see what an Anthony Davis trade would look like, because I do believe that's the most realistic star that the Warriors can go for right now, especially with the way Dallas been moving. Like they just maybe you could fleece them. Dallas also should look to move Anthony Davis to blow this up for Cooper Flag. So for being young. So we're in trade deadline mode. We do have to wait until the trade deadline. Oh, we actually don't need to wait until the trade deadline to move Kuminga. It just says trade candidate for some reason. Like they just know that Jonathan Kuminga. I didn't even know that was a thing on this website. So we still need to, after Jonathan Kuminga, make up. That's $31 million. Yeah, $31 million. Dre, you're gone. No, but that's tough. That's tough. I mean, that immediately sends Moody and Hield out of here. We have to do it. And then we have $10 million to go. If we are going trade deadline mode, so this is just a trade deadline deal, which I don't know if Dallas will want to wait, but then they could just include Horford. Boom. They keep Pods. Moody also. So the Mavericks are getting two great pieces here in Moody and Kuminga. Is this an overpay even? I'm curious what you think, Warriors fans, because Steph is only getting older. Dre's only getting older. Everyone's only getting older. You need to make a move to capitalize right now. Like things are not going to get easier as guys like Wembanyama just get older as well and they become better and better. Like this is the kind of package we're looking at. The actual salary cap specifics will be worked out by the teams if this were to happen. But yeah, it's like something like this or adding Al Horford. I mean, Buddy Hield kind of needs to be in the deal with this $9 million. I will end with one closing thought, which is I find it hilarious that fans are speculating that the Warriors did not trade for Lauri Markkanen because Draymond, bro, knew he was a part of the trade. He said it because he was going to be in the trade package. He said that because he would have went to Utah. Why are you giving Draymond so much power? Literally, why are you giving Draymond so much power to say no to Lauri Markkanen? Seems like that would have been ideal. Seems like the Warriors could have used Lauri. I mean, Steph was just about to come back from injury last year. Now, maybe they don't get Jimmy, maybe, but like it seems like they would have been able to work everything out. I'm curious what you think down below, and if you did enjoy this video, I think you're gonna like these 2 videos that are on the screen right now. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You are awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day and peace.